What's up, everybody? How are you doing this fine evening? I'm doing well, and I hope you're doing well as well. Today, just before this live stream, I joined a workshop from Chris Doe about the content creation no sales funnel. It was very interesting to be a part of, and I have the workbook and things scheduled that I need to go over at some point. It was this one. If you don't know Chris Doe already, he's a very big personality known for his things like personal branding, but also design and all that good stuff. And I wanted to get familiar with how to get more clients or customers or whatever using this YouTube channel, of course, where we explore the tools and things and stuff. Let's see if everything is working on Twitch as well. It looks like it is working, so that's nice. People can join there as well today. Let's see if the stream will go well, this stream as well. If it doesn't, then let me know, please, because I want YouTube to be my main channel still. I'm sorry, people watching at Twitch. Don't expect anybody to be watching, to be fair, but you never know. And let's move this one over a little bit to the left. Hello, little brother. How are you doing? Today, we have something very exciting to look into because last week, what's called? Elementor Release Editor 4. I'm very excited about that one because it uses classes to create the websites that we have been building for the couple of years, right? I'm good. Nice. Watching the show. Just chilling and relaxing. Loving it. And yeah, I'm very excited about that one. I've looked into the videos from Dave Dan, of course. If you want to see it, I can leave a link in the description down below and in the chat as well. Let me see if we can find it quickly. And then I can also share my screen because you can then see if... there we go. So we can leave a message in the chat and hopefully if somebody wants to watch it in Twitch, then there's a message there as well. So let's have a look. So here we have a InstaWP installed version. And if you want to have InstaWP, I'm using that all the time for creating my testing websites. Let's see, hobby, InstaWP. I don't remember this one by name. Hobbyist plan. No, I don't know. Let me quickly check because I want to give you the links, of course. There we go. Come on. It takes a little while sometimes. Because I love to use InstaWP during my live streams, but also during exploration, because you can quickly set up a testing environment where you can install plugins and just test things out. It also allows you to create staging websites and hosting nowadays as well. So it's a really good tool that I really can recommend. But there's one that is something that I really can recommend. And it's this one. How can I copy it? There we go. And it's this link. So if you want to try out InstaWP for quickly installing websites and trying out some staging websites, there's a link in the chat right now that we can activate for $29 a year. What you get is 4 staging websites, which means that for the 4 staging websites, you have 4 sites that you can experiment with. For me, I have now installed Elementor, but if we look at my when I log in, I have a few more installed right now. And this is a project that is finishing just yet. This is my blueprint. And these are all my test environments right now. So if I wanted to just to check out some plugins, I would remove all of the other ones and then just use those But to get back on what we are trying to do, we're trying to look into Elementor and see how it works nowadays with the Elementor v4. Now, a little bit of caveat, it is still in beta or alpha version. I don't know, it's a little bit confusing, but because in the announcement it says beta and then they state in their email that it's an alpha version. Alpha is usually pre-beta, so I don't know. It doesn't matter. We can just take a look at this, and it's still an experimental version. So please do not run this on a real life website, because things will update, things will break, and you'll be sad if things break. Now let's see if we can set it up. We're using the free version. It's the generate tags, features. Is it only available for the pro version? I don't know. Or where do we even set this up? We go into site tools and then version control, and here you have to set beta tester. You enable it, save changes. And Belfa, yeah. Let's take his reviews. Sounds about right. Let's see what's happening. We can now install the developer edition, which you need to do before you can use the 3.29 version. We can activate this plugin, and here we can update to the latest version. As you can see, it's 3.29, and in their announcement they said that the version v4 will be available for that version. So let's install that really quick. I hope that is really quick. Yes, this is just amazing how fast it is on EtchWP. It's such an amazing website that provides you with some testing environments. So now we can go in here, in home, then we go settings, and then when you see a tab, editor v4, we want to open it up and activate the new version. So you don't need the pro version if you want to try this out. I've also one trying out the pro version, but that one can be closed right now because we don't need it. So now we can try out a new experience. Let's see, watch and learn, people, how things will go. Watch your Twitch channel. Can't find it. Tag his reviews. That's the nicest thing. Let's see if I can find address. /tag his reviews. I use that everywhere, so I hope it won't be as hard to find. I see that I've set it up with a lot of things, but no clue. Tag his reviews. Found it. Thanks. You're welcome, and thank you for joining in Twitch as well, little brother. Now you can watch me on both streams. I need to figure out how I can do a combined chat in one window. I know that the plugin that I use, Social Stream, could help me out with that, but I don't know how. But anyways, I digress. Here we have the new version installed. So we have the structure panel. I like to use it on the right hand side. I dislike that there's an AI thingy here. Hopefully I can remove it in the future, but it's fine by now. It's easy in Social Stream. All right, then I need to do a stream to test out how I can add the Social Stream inside of Twitch, or the other way around. Because I have no freaking clue. Whatever the case. So here we start off on the left hand side with atomic elements. These are the new elements that have been added, and you can recognize them by this nice atomic icon. If you don't know atomic, let's retype that. Atomic. And if we look at that, this looks like an atom, right? And Elementor clearly wants to represent that version of atomic, as you can see right here. Do know they have a nice warning, and you can view the new version of it. Now, Dave has a really great way of explaining the differences between v3 and v4 version of the editor. There was already a link shared, so if you want to see differences between those experiences and how the DOM size has been improved, then watch this video. I really can recommend it. For me, I just want to get a feeling on how this works. So we can add a div block, and now we have a div in there. I would put it as a section because that's the main thing that will scale towards the edges of the screen. And we can see that there's an empty section. And install options, we have now the classes. Awesome. We can change the layout, which is flex, inline block, or in block, or influx. Tomek just watching who's the settlers. Nice. He is a very good one. I always like the things that he is making. Let's see. We can set it to flex and then maybe from left to right. Let's create a simple hero section, right? We add an image, we add in a div. This all feels like it works without issue. Can we also control click to add? No, it doesn't allow us to do that. We can add a paragraph and a button. Now we have the default left to right kind of thing. Maybe we want to put the content first because that's more important than the rest. And can we then change where this is set? Let's see, effects, no, nothing, border, typography, position. I just want to change the order. Can we do that as well? Ooh, look at that, a little bit pink color to indicate that there has been changes made. There's no way to reset this, so that would be nice in the future if they have it. Again, this is pre-alpha. This is a dev version. I don't know if it's pre-alpha, but it's not completely yet. So there are some things that could be missing. Here we have the sizing. Maybe we can start off with changing the size of this one. So where was it? Here, size. And then we have a width. I want the width to be 100 view width, and the max amount of width should be 140, something like that. I see there's things still going on. This could be because we haven't installed the Hello theme. So let's go to appearance, themes. Yeah, it's using 2024, but we want to use Hello Elementor. Install it and activate. And now hopefully it will look good under the hood. So let's check it out. Add post. This is a test, or as we say, a test. And let's see if we can make it work right now. There we go. It looks like it's more full width. I do hate that all the pop-ups. You need to upgrade. You need to upgrade. I get that you need to pay money for it, but it would be very nice if this can be disabled somehow, because I really get annoyed with all the distractions. Could there be a subtle way to do this? Maybe once when you open it up. All right, let's do this again. We add a section, and in there we'll add a div with a heading, add a paragraph, add a button. And then in the flexbox, I also want to add an image. Look at that. And I still want to make this image differently. First, let's make the layout change. Yeah, for real. Also, have you considered upgrading yet? Yeah, it's annoying. It's on all the places. Let's see. We can change things locally, which means that only in this instance changes will be done. But you can also use a class name, which means that you can do it for every page. Maybe we can say this is a hero to column. And for a hero to column, we want this going from left to right always. We want the items to align to the center. That would be nice. I would love to have a grow of 5 rem. It's a shame that we can't type it in. You have to click it. So that will be a nice thing to optimize. I think this one is good. I don't need to add spacing. Maybe we want to have the default spacing for each section. So maybe we can add in a class called section, and in section I always want my left and right to be They are all connected. I do think this looks pretty. I don't know if pretty cuts it, but it does look pretty. Look at that. And then we can use section for each of our sections to make it look the same. Now I want the sizing of the layout to be 2-column layout. So, and I want this to be the first one in order. Because we're using flex, we are a little bit limited, if you ask me. So we need to set 50 and then %, so that it takes up 50% of the sizing. And that's where grid is just a little bit better, if you ask me. We did set the gaps right here. So we need to open this one and set it maybe to 3. That looks a little bit too spacious. Let's set it to 2. And in section, we have the nice padding. So if we add a new section in here, we can say that it is the old school one, and we can press plus here, and then you have the old school, the version 3.3 to be added. And we can also add a flexbox right here, and we drop in, and then you have the version v2. Then we again, so I just noticed you're not in a Twitch category. Oh, do I need to be in a Twitch category? How do you backseating allowed web design WordPress English? Right, you need to explain that at a certain point in time, because I don't know how that which category I would fit in, actually, to be fair. Yeah, it's a Twitch thing. All right. Hello there, Jimmy. Nice of you to join. Let's see. So we have a pretty standard 2-column layout. And now I add another section. And in the section, I want to use my similar. Look at that. That's awesome. I use this class just to have the right spacing everywhere, so I don't need to change them. So I use a mix of utility classes like section, so that we have equal spacing on the left and right hand side, and then use specific naming conventions like hero section, hero 2-column, or hero homepage, or hero primary, to differentiate and make changes on depending on the hierarchy. And what we can do, and that's what I saw from Dave Dan, is that we can change the hierarchy of where the classes is used. And I think the class manager is nice, but I would also love some way or form or shape to open this and manage the classes, make the changes, not only put them in some kind of hierarchy, but yeah, I can see this work. The section are your primaries, and then this is the secondary, so it will always override what the defaults are. I really like this interface, actually. I really like how easy it is, but I would love to be able to change it right here if I can't find it, or just want to make other changes. Well, we can go in here, section, and we have a nice title. I see that this is an H2. We can make it H1. And we can add, this is just amazing how they done this. It looks very good. Usually you should set classes for each section. So Etchy Breakheart. My Archie Etchy. Hey, agent. Agent? Hi, hierarchy. Etchy Breakheart. Thanks for making fun of me. Yeah, it's a Twitch thing, so either science and technology or software, and I like science and technology. You can change it in the stream manager or whatever it's called. Can I do that when I'm live? Well, it looks like it. Let's change the title. Random web builder stuff. It's a shame that it doesn't use the things that I otherwise use. Science. I'm sorry for people watching at YouTube. I need to set this up just to have fun. And hopefully I can do this once. And then it's fine. It looks like it's working. Random low-code website web builder stuff. That's what we do, right? We do some random stuff. All right. Thanks, brother. Let's see right here. You know what I was wondering? Like Elementor is also for people starting with designing and develop. Do you think a lot of people will be using classes there, since a lot of them are new users? No, I don't think so. I don't know. It depends on what they will be doing for education as well. I think a lot of streamers will get on board on having, or a lot of content people, right, will teach how to use classes in their own way. And that way a lot of people understand how to use this. So in practice, I do think there's a low amount of people using this right out of the gate because of the ease of use you can do by just using it locally. But then they run into issues, and they run into it very fast. If you want to do changes on every page, you need to understand how to use classes in the end. And so it would be logical that you can do a right click or something and then transfer over all the local styles to a class. Because I can imagine that most people won't be able and don't know how to use this right off the way. But it's too expensive or can't afford it. Yeah, that could be also the thing, exactly. That's true. It's more aimed for developers or people that are more into this at some point, which I think they want to go towards too as well, right? Why would they else introduce this? Let's see. Let's make a change right here. So, I don't know. How would you call this? Hero wrapper, hero text, hero content. That sounds about right. And then we can make this also a flex and then go from top to bottom. And then in here, I just want to add some spacing because it looks nice. It would be nice, just like in GreenShift, that we can set the default unit of measure, because pixels is not recommended anymore for most of the things that you do. Maybe for images it can work, but for the other things, please don't. And the reason being because rem is scalable and em is scalable and percentage is scalable, but pixels is just fixed units of measure, which in this day of age is not good, because look at this. You have different screen sizes that you can use, so it needs to be very very nice. Also, just like Dave mentioned, I'm missing clamps. For instance, for my spacing, I like to use some clamp value, but I also do like the client suite, client first off fin suite, I guess. It's from Webflow, and they have a client first design system, which is really helpful actually in understanding how they do things. They share it openly, so it's very nice and accessible. If you want to take a look at it, I really recommend to do so. And hey, Buckton, what nice of you to join. Yeah, copying ID design into a class would be a lovely bricks. Yeah, I do agree, Alex. Add on. What I love about, yeah, I do understand that. Taps on the right. Whoa. Oh, that's nice, right? We can also close that tab right there. But I use their calculation method, and what they do, they use a clamp kind of sizing inside of their, what's called defaults. So the HTML define the font size, and then you can use rem throughout your web application, which makes them a little bit easier to watch to, instead of being so cluttered, etc. So I can really recommend using something like this. I used it a few times, and it really makes your values very easy to look at because you are not distracted by the clamp naming convention, but you can just set it up once and use it right here. I don't know if this is the best method of doing it, but at least it's a method that I really like, that you do the more difficult calculations within CSS and then on the HTML element, and then styling the simple settings right here. But let's hi there, Bogdan, by the way, and taps on right. Whoa, yeah. And all right, next thing we would like to do is click them both, and can we right click and wrap them in a structure? What's structure doing? It's not doing anything, because I want them both inside of a div. I can't seem to do that. Ah, nice. But we can click them both and drag them right in. I guess we can't. And there we have a simple setup. Now, why would I use an extra container for the heading and paragraph and a separate one for the button? Because usually the design, it's nicer to have those two because they are talking about one another, having the spacing more tight, and have a looser spacing between the paragraph and the button. Rem is for everything is debatable. Some users increase the text size to make it readable. Yeah. So if all spacing is increased as well, scaled, yeah, that's true. That's very much true. What do you use for spacing? I'm wondering. So this is how you can set up a very simple hero section. And yeah, that's lovely. We can set inside settings. Pixels are great most of the time for paddings. I can see that as well. Would there be a nicer way of doing that as well? I'm wondering. For the sections, I don't like that you have the default gaps already available, and I don't like the default container padding, so I usually set them to 0. And because we design for the nowadays popular sizing, we usually set this to 1440. But it can be different depending on what you like. Best to keep spacing in variables, for sure. So next is the button. So this is the default button. Usually you can make the default changes inside settings as well. So let's see if we can make the changes for this button, because it looks like blue and pinkish, I guess. And I don't see the default colors coming from here, but you can see that when changing it, it's changing there as well. So we can use the global styling for this. I don't see that my background color is changing. And this is what I mean with being in a test version. Then you get all kinds of hiccups like this one, and then things stop working. And that's just what happens, right? I do like the simpler interface that you just have a general and a style section, for instance, for a flex box. And if you want to see the old flex box, I'm sorry, Dave, I'm still doing this. You have layout, style, and advanced. And you have access to all three of them. And I like the simplified version. But I'm also missing some things like order and that sort of things, but also display content. I can see that being added in the future. At least add custom CSS and make it available for the free version. Don't make me upgrade to pro version for this. If you're going to talk to people that want to have a more pro experience, either go for this one that you can add classes, or use the other HelloBiz version and keep the simplified v3 version available for people that are just starting out and want to play with the free version. At least make a decision, not half and half, please. We can add some kind of effects as well. Box shadow. And we can add multiple colors. Let's see what happens if we make this and then we make this one bigger. Ooh, you can duplicate. We can change it. Let's make it 20 or 40. Look at that. We can have different gradients stacking up. That is really nice. And that you can also see what kind of shadow you're using. And then we can add another one, like 2. Pixel black. Look at that. That looks lovely. That's the best box ever seen. Go admit it, that it is really the best box you have ever seen. So really liking that. Adjust corners. Then you can select individual corners. I'm a little bit confused because if we look at the spacing right here, you have the option to do them all separately right here. I think they're assuming that if you set border radius, you want the default option to be on all the sides, but for the padding, it is different. I really love how they notated this, because if you are writing padding in a single class, like padding and then semicolon or colon, the first value is top, then you have the right value, then you have the bottom value, and then you have the left value. Right. Maybe I need to make this a little bit more tangible. So if you're writing CSS, and then you need to write like this, padding, and this is done the top value, this is the right value, bottom and left, which translate to, if you want to do 1 rem top, 2 rem to the right, 1 rem to the bottom, and 2 rem to the left, for example. This is just an example on how you could write CSS in that case, and I love that the structure is the same when you're looking in the style option and then looking into spacing right here. I don't know what else we are going to look at. Most people I think that are in here are used to using Elementor, and I really like that they are doing these kinds of changes. I like, so let me do that a little bit bigger. I really like how they preserve the editor v3, and I really like how they show the editor v4, and that you have classes added, that you can have a class manager, although it's still a little bit lacking. No, this is just a alpha or a test version. I do like it. I do like how refreshing it is. And as seen by the video from Dave, go watch it right here, you can see that the output of the HTML from Elementor is a lot cleaner nowadays. So it's something to take a look at. And I think that Elementor can win back some people that left Elementor. At least if they remove their promotion throughout all the experience you have. Just remove them, Elementor, please, or give an option to just opt out all the experiences. Let's see if we can see that, because I'm very curious. Can we go to Elementor? Is there some kind of setting somewhere that we can opt out? Use this data sharing. If I share my data, will you remove all the upgrade buttons? I don't mind it to be in here. Maybe maybe there should be something, yeah, right here. And maybe remove it here that we don't see it, or maybe only when you hover settings or something. I don't have to be reminded every time, please. And we can have role manager. Oh, did I skip over it? API keys, advanced mode. And generator tag, loading, Google unload, performance. It doesn't hit my performance. It's a feature. It should be a feature, right? Ooh, we have cloud templates. I haven't looked into that. Inline font icons, container, header footer, nested editor bar, and editor 4, of course. Let's have a look at Cloud. Make sure your site has an accessibility statement page. Install the plugin. If you want me to have an accessibility page, let me create the page instead of me needing to install another plugin. Come on, Elementor, please help out with creating a better user experience. If they ever make, then I might look into it. Yeah, I can see that. Let's see, this is not the page that we should have gone for. I want to look at posts and then this one. Maybe they will do at some point. All right, I want to make this available for save as template. And here we can now select our normal templates and our cloud templates. But can we save another kind of templates right here? I want to save my own template library, local template library, because I don't want to save it in the cloud. Well, let's see what happens. I will connect and I will leave everything, but because you don't have to see what I'm doing with Elementor. Hey Dave, how are you doing? Love your t-shirt, by the way. Thanks. It's a very old one from a couple of years back. Bananas. No, they are like little triangles or something. I don't know. But but love to have some kind of bananas. I don't see that happening ever. I don't think so either. Let's have a look. So now I have edit them and I can save them. I can save to the cloud template, but I do need to upgrade. Jeez. With the upgrades, subscription to access cloud templates and reuse saved assets across all your sites. So I have a Elementor account, right? And in there I have a subscription for the pro version. Why do I need to upgrade right here if I have something available that allows me to do these kind of things? So it would be nice that this is automatically removed if they can see that your account is a pro or a paying account on the Elementor website. So I'm not able to save right now. I'm not installing Pro right now because I also want to continue on with the next portion. But I do love to know what you guys think so far. Would you consider using Elementor, or are the Pro widgets upgrade now kind of things really hurting your jam? And now you're like, never going to use it. We know that Jimmy will at least consider it, right? All right, let's see. Let's exit the WordPress. I'm switching back tomorrow. Loved it all. Nice. It's still in test version, Jimmy. But it's nice that you're going to switch to Elementor. So when are you going to do a Elementor live stream that you can figure out and how to use it? Would also love to have you on my live stream just so you can click around the new Elementor version. Would love to see your take. Oh, too bad. And that's I used Elementor in the past, liked it. Price was a tad high for me back then though. Yeah, I can imagine that. I still have a legacy account, but I have seen that they have upgraded the price next increment. So I hope that I can reach out to support and say, hey, I see that this is now $199 instead of $99 a year. Is there a reason where it's upgrading? And can we do something about it to keep the price lower? Because I really don't want to pay a lot when I'm just testing out Elementor on different websites. All right. So that was the first part of the live stream that I wanted to take a look at Elementor. And some time ago, Gavin Geary already gave the go-ahead that I can test out EtchWP on my live streams as well. In the meantime, a lot of things happened. Clutch introduced themselves. We had a conversation with the people of Rabbit Cloud. We had a just intermediate live stream. And today, we're finally going to get a glimpse of Etch in a install that I've built myself. So this is from EtchWP. InstaWP. I'm sorry. Oh damn! Is there going to be a something happening? And I've installed Etch. So what you get when you install Etch, you get the theme and also the builder itself. I already noticed that you need to use pages to do something with it. And let's just create a new page, right? This is a test. I'm getting etchy. I don't even hate Elementor. It's just not for me. Yeah, I can get that. If I'm using Elementor currently, it's not for me either. But I have to for work. And it's so annoying that you know that there's a better tool, but it is not as well established. And that's the reason why people won't use it right now. And I get that, right? If you have a tool that is used for years and has 1 million plus installs and has a tested history, that's way better. And I'm talking about Elementor and Bricks as the other tool that I think fits this project really better. But it's still getting years of experience before my company, I guess, will do that. I'm getting etchy now. Lol, sorry, I had to. It's fine. So we can add it with Etch. And there, this is the interface. Say hello to Etch, everyone. Hello, Etch. All right, I'm talking to myself. So what we can do, we have all the sections that we can add at the bottom instead of a block to the left. What I think is a little bit crazy is that in the past, Kevin Geary said that it will never look the same as Elementor and that sort of things. Well, he succeeded in doing that. But I do feel the interface is a little bit more cluttered because of the things that they want to add. I don't say it's a bad thing. It's just a lot because you have all this space used up right now. But there's something interesting for that. So let's add a section. So here we have a section. And now we can change our HTML by just writing in here. So we can add another div. Look at that. That's awesome. And recognized as a div, so it will be added. We can add an image tag. And we can add a p tag. And this makes editing in Etch so much easier that you have the differences onto just creating the HTML in the structure or in here. And then also have the option to look at your structure. So you can do whatever you want. Do you want to just build using the blocks, or do you want to make changes using the code? And that's something that I always wanted. I always wanted to have a way of building out a page using these kind of sections and then fine-tuning, adjusting the code. There was no way in the past to do both of them in the right way. You have to either use a page builder like Elementor, Bricks Builder, or Gutenberg, or whatever flavor of the day it is right now. But Etch allows you to just adjust this as well, because you are just fixed on having no access to the code. And that's what I like about this one. By the way, that's also the reason why I like Clutch a lot, because it creates the website for you in a page builder, and then you can make adjustments. Now, today's live stream was actually for Clutch, but something happened, so we needed to reschedule. So hopefully we can do it at next week, because I'm very interested and do have some questions about Clutch. One of the biggest thing I can imagine right now is, are we able to fully incorporate React and do changes to the pages that we see right here? Can we change those inside of a React app inside of VS Code? So that's a question that I'm really going to ask. But going back to this, I love that you can make changes to the HTML, but also build out the sections. Now I see that the DOM or the canvas is not reflecting what we have right here. And we also, but we do see it right here. Do you know, just like Elementor v4, this is still in a an alpha version or a test version or a dev version, so it's not ready by no means. I am curious if it has added everything. It is here, but it's not visible on the canvas. I don't know why. So maybe we have to delete it for now. And then just delete everything, add this one in. It is also what I like. You can just click it and then will be added to the section and directly. And we can see it right here as well. I prefer big 2.4. Yeah, I can imagine that you can have a preference for some kind of interface and how it looks and feels. You can move. That would be nice if you can also move this section over to to have a similar kind of interface, right? And then you can just pick and choose what you want, because they want to have adjustable sections, but maybe this should be able to move to there. Now we can also style things, and I saw Kevin doing stuff. Let's see, we can do change to here, right? It's fine. I will just remove that one, make that smaller, crush that in just a little bit. Can we just make this one bigger and HTML smaller? Look at that, that's awesome. So if I remember correctly, we can press Ctrl Enter and then we can add classes. This is the same what you also see in the Bricks Forge kind of thing. But this is only for adding classes or properties to the HTML element. So if we add a hello world to here, then it will add the class hello world. And as you can see, our styling just changed. So now we can change the styling according to the things that we need. I don't know if I'm a very big fan of how this looks right now, but it is fine. It gets you around. What I do like is that when you press color, you have all the color properties of CSS combined in one version. The spacing looks a little bit off, by the way. Yes, I'm a UX designer, or I was a UX designer. You have the background color. That's actually really funny. Color and background color. Does that mean that in the future you also have image and that sort of things? Well, Kevin's screaming. Need to shout to make nice. Yes, that's really funny. That's the one thing that I really dislike, and sometimes how he down talks to people. I get that he is really passionate and he really wants the people to go a certain way. At least that's my take on it. But how he is doing it is just like what's called Matt Mullenweg trying to push for a better support for open source communities, because it will be very helpful. But then you do it in a non-strategic way. I don't know if he really wants to do that and has that inside of his mind, but I like to see the positive things in people. Let's see. We can use variables right here, so we can type this if I remember correctly. Oh, I don't have ECSS installed, so it doesn't work, I guess. Passionately is different from being a bully. Yeah, I do. Yes, I do understand that as well. It'll work. I'm sounding okay. Something might have happened. Can you give me a thumbs up if you hear me? Hello, hello. Let's see. Hello, hello. Yeah, I see that OBS is still listening, so it should be working. If not, let me know. Okay, nice. Thanks, Dave. But you can just change the colors right here. Works fine. All right. Whew, luckily, I heard that my audio interface suddenly was disconnected, so that's why I'm checking. We can go inside of our container and press Ctrl Enter and then type in dot hero wrapper. And then we see that there's also property set, which is really nice. And here's our HTML, CSS. It would be nice that you could do the same thing in the structure, that you can change from the structure to the HTML and vice versa. You can add attributes, duplicate, remove. We have flex, and that means that we have some kind of gap somewhere. Got that. Let's set it to rem. We can just type it in. This is what I mean that Elementor has missing, because I usually type out the unit of measure as well. And there was a sound of device disconnected and reconnected. Yeah, I guess that was my audio interface. So it's nice that the audio is also picked up. Also a little bit worrying. Yeah, I have my desktop audio on, so I have disabled it right now. Let's see. We can add a padding like you're used to. I guess we can type it out like so. So this is the way that I like to write the CSS as well. You can also set it like this. I really like that this translating how many pixels you're using actually. So 32 pixels in the block element, and maybe we can set it to 3 rem. It automatically calculates. That's awesome. I haven't seen that before. We can also look at the container, and we can add attributes. Oh, I can see that the structure would make sense to have this there, and then something like this, and that we can change the HTML, and that we can set a different tag. We can add a data edge element. Can we destroy things? Yes, we can. Everything. Nice. And we can add other attributes as well. And we can add a query loop. Now this has a little bit of setting up that needs to be done, if I remember correctly. Here we have our WP query arguments. That's nice. Then we can set what kind of post type we want in there, post types per page, order, date. It's nice that you can have access to this code as well if you want to make changes directly in the PHP instead of having to add another function to access this. I can see in the future this also having some kind of what's called user interface to make it easier to understand. And then you have a loop with a diff ground of color, and then we can drop in items. I don't have anything in here to loop over, so it doesn't work right now. Sup, Brendan, how are you doing? Nice of you to join. And then you have the breadcrumbs where you can go deeper or go less deep, depending on where you want to go. We have the access to the content, so I can imagine those are pages, custom post types, that sort of things. Media, templates. Ooh, look at this. Catch all templates, where you can catch all the templates. Then you have pages. We can create a single page right here. But these are templates, so it's the template for the pages. And here by default we have the main container, and we have a slot of content. I've worked with React and that sort of things, knowing that slot is usually used or something similar, where you can define what kind of content will be in there. So it's nice. This new Elementor looks nice. Yeah, you missed it like 10 minutes ago, I guess. Then we were looking at Elementor, and now I'm looking at Etch because I'm very curious at the updates actually. And I do like the HTML editing that you can do right here. And it's something, like I said before, I really wanted to have in the past, that you are able to use a page builder to make changes. But if you'd like to and want to add properties, they also can do it inside of here. Or if there's something that's not available, and you can just type it out, because sometimes typing it out is quicker than needing to search the right place to have it drop down and then select the element that you need. for instance, that we need to add it in here, right, in the main container. Add content slot. So we can add multiple slots. That would be nice. Do you have content inside of content? But that's where we make changes to the pages. I can imagine that you see a preview in the future in here. And then you have all your styles. And we can go back to the post. Doesn't work right now. And look at that. We're back into... So we can go to the edit. And then we are in our editor. Then we go to templates. And go back to the builder. Oh, no, it doesn't work like that. Back to post. And then we are, I see, wait. I want to try this out one more time. So we go to pages and with one click, we're back to the post where we were editing. So no destruction or disruption. It's nice. And then we can add all kinds of styling. As you can see, if you want to style something, you need to add a class. Let's add a class of test. And go to source style. So we see that there's a other class in there that adds the padding. It's 2 rem in this case. But I don't see the class or where it's set. And it's something that Bricks also has added right now. So that's nice. I like how this looks and that you can edit the structure and do some changes to the HTML. I wonder how deep you can go. Can you also do some kind of write the loops yourself and do also some kind of if and else statements? Because under the hood it is using something like mustache. Yeah, this one, mustache. Something like, or twig. If you have a twig, it's also something. And a templating system that uses 2 curly brackets where you can make changes. So this looks similar. That looks awesome. All right. I'm tired. I think I'm mustache. Let's see. What else? Do you guys have any questions that I need to take a look at to Etch or Elementor V4? I'm a bit tired, so I won't be going over Web Studio this time. Maybe not next live stream or the live stream after that one, because I have 2 interviews planned right now. One is with the people of Clutch, and one is with a very well-known accessibility expert. So stay tuned for that one. And maybe in the future I will look at Web Studio as well. Can you show adding a new HTML? Yes, I can. I'm sorry, Bogdan. I'm very sorry. Multi-top level elements detect. Only the first will be used. All right. So it helps out. So we can add it like this. And we have some kind of auto-completion going. This looks very similar to what's called Copan. If you have worked with that one, then this will feel very similar. And we can add a H1 in there. Say hello. And there we go. A nice H1 element of hello. Bye. And if you need a button for subscribing, then please do. Yeah, I'm a person that wants to do these kinds of live streams in about an hour, so it's a lot of things to cover in one go. I'm very sorry. If you want to put Web Studio on top of the list, you're free to sponsor me, then I will do more of these kinds of videos. Else I'm just going to do whatever I feel like at that moment and have time for. At least Elementor V4 was the most important thing, because they just released automatic elements, and I really wanted to look at Etch again. It was a long time ago. They have changed the interface. The last time that I watched at this, and they had only the bar and it was very small. They've added a lot of user interface kind of things. It's a lot, but I understand that you need those. I don't see here's the panel for CSS, and if we select something, where's my CSS panel? Where is it? Where's my CSS panel? Why isn't it showing? I'm having my classes selected, and or do I need to open this, or can I just remove this? Same for loop panel. All right. That's really cool. Yeah, I think so as well. I'd recommend watching Kevin's video on making an intro component very helpful. Nice. I will do that. I've seen some videos inside of the Edge group as well, where he uses all the kind of things, but doing that on a live stream is a little bit different. But I like it. I will watch it again and then show it to people. We're doing very good, Toby, and I'm sorry to hand it over to you, but I'm tired. I'm done for today. So we now have looked into 2 page builders for WordPress specifically. We have looked into Edge and we have looked into Editor v4 from Elementor. And if you want to look at both of them as well, you can try. Editor v4 is available for anybody, I guess, that is signed up for the beta testing. So you need to enable the beta testing, and please only do this on a testing environment. And if you want to test out Edge, you need to be in the community, so it's a little bit harder to get in there right now. And I also would love to have your thoughts. What do you like more, the Elementor v4 option or Edge? For me, I like both of them, because Elementor cadence is more towards the people that are already building with Elementor but just want to have a little bit more than they have right now. And I can see that having a real big impact for the 12%, if I remember correctly, of people that are using Elementor right now. 12% of the whole web. It's an insane amount. And I like Edge, that you can just write your own code and do the changes within the editor. And I'm going to watch the video that Brandon recommended about components. Thank you all for watching. And as always, keep designing. Have a nice evening, my buddy. Let's see, I need to find the stop button, and then I press it and say